Paranormal Dimensions is a regular feature on Mondays on the Paranormal UK radio network. Any opinions or comments made by any guest are their own, and they do not necessarily reflect any of the presenters or network's opinions.
You unlock this door with the key of imagination. Beyond it is another dimension.
It's really good to see you. I don't know what happened to the driver and my luggage and... well... and with all this, I thought I was in the wrong place. I bid you welcome.
Hello, this is Malcolm Robinson and you're listening to the Paranormal UK radio network, the UK's biggest paranormal network, and this is Paranormal Dimensions with David Young.
Hello and welcome to this week's show. Thank you for that introduction, Malcolm. On this show we'll be taking a slight detour into the world of fiction, but with a touch of paranormal truth mixed into it. My guest is going to be Shani Struthers, who's written quite a number of books. I'll just tell you a bit more about that in a moment. But if you would like to get in touch with me at any time, my email address is davidyoung2qn@yahoo.co.uk. That's davidyoung2qn@yahoo.co.uk. Now on to today's guest. Her name is Shani Struthers. She was born and bred in Brighton, UK. Shani is the author of 22 supernatural thrillers so far, some set in various locations in England, others in far more far-flung destinations such as Venice and America. Having been brought up with an understanding of the occult and alternative views on religion, she threads this knowledge throughout her books, often drawing on real-life experiences of her own, from people she's known and from well-known occult figures. Her books tend to revolve more around psychological horror than pure horror, which in her opinion is far more terrifying. You won't find gore, vampires, werewolves, zombies or such like in her fiction. Her psychic survey series have proved very popular, becoming global Amazon genre bestsellers. Her new series, This Haunted World, is a set of standalone books set in and around the world's most haunted places, and again weave fact with fiction. They too have topped the Amazon genre charts. So, I take great pleasure in introducing Shani Struthers. Hello Shani, welcome to the show.
Hi there, thank you for having me.
Now, I was just saying to you off air that I was actually drawn to your books because of the cover. I know you shouldn't tell a book by its cover, but I was actually drawn to your books, and the covers fascinate me, the titles fascinate me. How did you come about starting to write psychological horror books? Because I did do a little bit of research. I think your first book, it appears to me, was called The Runaway Year in 2013. Is that true?
Indeed it was.
Right, okay.
Yes, that is a terrible truth, David. It is a terrible truth. No, I did, when I first started off, I've been a writer all my life. Basically, I studied English at university, and then I left university and I got into the travel industry, and I wrote for the travel industry for 20 years, for all the big names, Virgin, etc. So, and then I wanted to write a novel, and I thought, what should I write? And I've always loved horror. Don't get me wrong, horror is my first love. Paranormal. I think
we all do, don't we, really? Yes.
Yeah, it's my first love, always has been. I was brought up with a mother who made a lifetime study of the spiritual world and passed on a lot of her knowledge to me. So I've been used to the paranormal. Should we not say horror? I don't really like the word horror. Paranormal, I've been used to it all my life. But I wanted to write a book, and I thought, what should I write? And I had this idea, and it was an idea for a romance set in Cornwall. North Cornwall, Tintagel, in fact, one of my favourite places ever. And so I sat down and I wrote that and got it sent off. It got lots of offers for publication, got it published, wrote the sequel, which is The Runaway X. And in fact, it was a trilogy, and the trilogy to that, which there's a bit of a funny story about the third one. I pulled it from them in the end because I wasn't very happy with the publisher.
Oh, right.
And I've republished it under a different name. But, I loved it. Really loved writing, but I was done with romance after, I just don't have the imagination for it.
Right. And I think that also you're faced with, there's so much of it out there as well, isn't there?
Oh yeah, I mean, it's really popular. It's the most popular genre. And if you can crack it, you can crack it. But, once you've written one love story, for me, personally, you've written them all. And also, I don't actually read romance.
Right.
So I read...
I was going to say, I wondered if it was based on personal experiences or something, No,
it's just a little idea, and I just sort of wrote it down and went with it. And it actually did very well at the time, as did The Runaway X. But it's not what I wanted to do.
No.
So I jumped ship and I wrote the first book in the Psychic Surveys series, which is The Haunting of Highdown Hall, and it escalated from there, and I've since written 22.
I was going to say to you, I was going to say, I wasn't sure if it was 21 or 22.
It's 22, yeah.
You're only a young girl as well.
No, I'm not younger.
Well, you're not old, are you? You've still got a lot in you.
I've got a few more good years left, I reckon.
So, you've got another book coming out shortly as well, I believe, for Christmas.
I've got The Damned Season coming out on the 1st of November. That's, so I tend to write Christmas ghost stories if I can fit them into my yearly schedule. And they're shorter novels. They're sort of around 55,000 words. I've written Eve, Blakemort, Carfax House was last year's Christmas ghost story. And this year's Christmas ghost story is The Damned Season. And I say ghost story. I tend to explore all aspects of the paranormal, and I tend to ask within the books just what does constitute a haunting. And it's not the obvious, usually. It can be psychological, for example.
Yeah, sure. I mean, also you can get, like in the poltergeist world, for instance, it can be caused by children, can't it? With, like psychological problems, like you said. Yeah, poltergeist, exactly, yes. Especially teenage girls, apparently, able to manifest, sort of deep-seated feelings and emotions in a physical way. Yeah. Yeah, I remember that film in the book, obviously, it was Stephen King, Carrie, which was quite heavy story, wasn't it? It's I think they redid that recently, didn't they?
They did, but it wasn't as good as the old one with Sissy Spacek, and that was one of the first horrors I read. And remember I was only about 13. I was so engrossed in it, and a strange thing happened because I'm quite good at manifesting as well.
Oh, you? Oh,
yeah.
I'll ask you about that in a minute.
Well, I was reading the scene where the pig's blood falls on her head. Yeah, it's horrible. Yeah. And I was so engrossed.
And you feel so sorry for her as well, don't you?
Oh, you do. Heartbreaking. And I looked up and there was blood all over my hand. And I thought, I've cut myself. So I put the book down, went and got a tissue, and there was no cut anywhere. But as I say, I can manifest things sometimes. So, yeah, I think I was just so into it.
Are you sure it wasn't strawberry jam or something? You ate the jam sandwich?
No, it wasn't. I wasn't eating any toast or anything like that.
I'm sorry, you have to excuse my sense of humour.
That's fine.
So the Psychic Surveys book, are they actually the same characters, or are they absolutely different stories in their own right?
What the Psychic Surveys series?
Yeah, the series.
In that, because I've written several series, but in the Psychic Surveys series, they're all the same characters. Yeah, you've got a quartet of kick-ass female psychics. You've got Ruby Davis at the helm. You've got Theo, Ness, and Corinna. Plus, you've got the ghost dog Jed, who is sort of Ruby's companion. shall we say, and it's probably one of the most popular characters. Everyone loves Jed. Everyone wants a Jed by their side. A ghost dog. Why wouldn't you?
We've probably all got ghost dogs by our side, I would have thought. I think we've all lost dogs at some time. And I do hear that people do sense their dogs around them as well. They're old dead dogs, you know. Yeah,
perhaps, maybe. I think there's, quite a lot around us, really, isn't there? If you open your eyes and look.
So, in the paranormal world, what is your favourite sort of genre? Is it ghosts and hauntings?
Yeah, ghosts and haunting. I'm not into gore. I really am not. I'm not into vampires, werewolves. Don't mind a bit of witches. I do like a witch. I like sort of horror, paranormal, whatever you want to call it, on a more psychological level. That's what fascinates me.
Yeah, I know what you mean about the horror aspects of it. Sort of takes you in another direction. It just goes into like the slasher movies or that sort of thing, doesn't it?
Exactly, and they're highly predictable. But they are good fun. I mean, having said that, I have watched my fair amount of slasher movies in my time. I have done all that. So, but I think it comes a point when you perhaps go on to another level with it. If you've got a real fascination with it.
Yeah, probably in the Stephen King type of book, because they're actually like a psychological horror, most of those, aren't they? With a supernatural twist on most of them. And also, we go back to the Alfred Hitchcock series, the old movies. They were very psychologically horror, and not really supernatural.
No, but they're still scary, weren't they? Yeah. They still creep you out, and that's what the fascinating thing is about it all. That doesn't have to be horror as such. It can still have the same creep factor, the same, scare factor, and in fact more, if not more. I mean, I think that one of the books that I think is one of my favourite books is The Haunting of Hill House by Shirley Jackson, and that's a real less is more type of book. I don't know if you've read it. It's only a small
I haven't.
Short novel.
Did they make a movie of that? I'm sure I've seen it.
It's honestly... the old black and white movie was great, actually. The one with Claire Bloom. Anything else after that, really don't bother with. But it was all about, well, is it haunted? Is that someone outside my door? Is that someone in that other room? It was all left to your imagination. So your imagination, of course, was being fed, and it just ran wild. Fascinating. It's a good book, and it's only a short book. It's only a short novel. I think most of the best stories, ghost stories, are quite sort of short.
Yeah, the compact ones. I remember the compact collections used to get a lot of ghost stories, and they were like little short stories, and maybe 5 or 7 pages or something. The genre definitely lends itself to that, I think. Yeah, because you've got to fit quite a lot. I think with a large book or a full size book, you've got to sort of develop the characters and everything, haven't you? More. But in the ghost story, you're just getting that little incident in a certain time frame, sort of thing.
Susan Hill does that very well as well. The Woman in Black and The Small Hand and all those. She does that very well. The small, short, sharp ghost story. Yeah. So they're real inspirations for me. Although most of my books do tend to be, full-length novels, but I do like to crank out the shorter Christmas ghost story. Yeah.
Are you constantly working on them all the time, or?
Constantly, yeah. It's my...
It looks like you get sort of about maybe 2 a year out, from what I can see here.
I suppose I get 2 full-length novels and a shorter novel, which is the Christmas Ghost Story. So, 2.5. 2.5.
So, how do you keep developing how do you develop those stories? Or is it just something that comes to you, or?
Yeah. Well, I think once you open the old floodgates, I think the ideas do come through all the time. I mean, I've got them backed up in my head, and I think, I want to get onto this, and I want to get into that, but I must finish this one first. I mean, like I say, I've got The Damned Season coming out on the 1st of November, which is the Christmas Ghost Story, but 25,000 words into This Haunted World book.
So so sometimes you're working on 2 at once?
Yeah, sometimes I do. And sometimes I have a break as well, strangely enough. Sometimes I think, I'm going to give myself, a couple of weeks off, 2 or 3 weeks off. and I hate it. I can't bear it. I think I'm a workaholic.
Yeah, maybe.
I have to force myself not to work.
Really?
Literally force myself not to do it.
I guess it's nice because you can do it from home anyway, can't you? You're not sort of having to go to the office every day or something. So
No. No, I mean, I work full time and I work at home and it's great and all. And I do live in the real world as well.
Yeah, you got to, yeah.
Yeah, I do have quite a busy, life outside of writing, but I still manage, I'm 22 paranormal books in, but you throw in the other 3, that's 25 books. So, I'm an old hand. I'm quite fast.
Yes. I was going to say, I think I mentioned it before, that your books sort of draw you, the covers draw you, and I was actually drawn to the covers, and the designs and the titles sort of really sort of grab you. And who's it does your covers?
That's a lady called Gina Dickerson, and she's from Rose Wolf Design, and she does all my covers, and she's absolutely brilliant. I just basically tell her what I want, and she's so in tune with me, and probably all her other clients too. She just gives you a whole load of variations on what you've asked for, and there it is, the perfect cover, invariably. Yeah,
they're fabulous. I mean, I will put the pictures of all the books on my Paranormal Dimensions page anyway, so anyone wants to see them, because they are really, I mean, you can always see them on Amazon anyway if you go searching.
Yeah,
but, you also do ghost hunts, I understand.
Well, I've done a few, in my time. All good for feeding the imagination, for fueling ideas. So I've done a few in my time. Yes, Blakemore was inspired by a trip to how do you say it? Wimmering Manor in Portsmouth. I did a ghost hunt there, and that's reputedly UK's most haunted house. And it was a really good overnight vigil that I spent there, and it did inspire Blakemore, which is this incredibly haunted house, which is at the heart, actually, of the Psychic Surveys books.
Right, yeah.
It does come up again and again, what happened in that house, and the spirits that occupy it are spirits that remain taunting the group of psychics that were, although they're working on other cases, stuff usually comes back to Blakemore, and what happened there. And it's still very much a mystery, Blakemore, what did happen there, because nothing's been written about it or anything like that. There's no documentation or anything. So this is very much a mystery, this house, as to what happened there, why, and the effect that it continues to have on people.
Can you give much more away about it without giving too much away about your book?
What, about Blakemore?
Yeah. Oh,
it's evil. It's now, Wimmering Manor is not the UK's most haunted house, Blakemore. You can find out all about it because I have written a separate book away from the Psychic Surveys series called Blakemore, and you read that and it will tell you all about basically I took aspects of all the most haunted houses in the UK, including like Borley Rectory and stuff like that, and I shoved it all into one house, shall we say.
Yeah. So
there's aspects of many real life haunted locations shoved into this one house, so it's bad. It's bad. And funny, I've had a manifestation when I was writing that, because I was so deeply ingrained in writing this chapter, and it was about flies, a fly invasion in the house, because flies are often a sign of a haunting. And I looked up, and my God, around my laptop were a whole host of flies. And I thought, what? Where have they come from? I've just been writing about it. Where have they come from? And I don't normally get fly invasions in my house, let me tell you that. And got up, dealt with it. About an hour later, they were all gone. It was so strange. Anyway, when you're writing about stuff like Blake, but when you're drawing from real life hauntings and, places that are considered evil, shall we say, infused with evil, it is important to protect yourself. because you're opening your mind up to stuff, and it can attract. So I have loads of protected crystals all over my desk. I always write with good intent. I always infuse my writing with plenty of light, so I balance it out, and so far so good.
Yeah. Do you feel that crystals and things do actually help you then?
They help me.
Yeah.
Might not help anybody else, but they certainly help. I love crystals. My house is weighed down with crystals.
Yeah, we've got some here,
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like the little obelisk one. Is it the, I'm not quite sure. I don't know too much about crystals, I have to admit.
Yeah.
But we have got like the pointed one. It's like a little obelisk.
Oh, yeah. No, I know. I've seen crystals in those shapes before, but yeah, I have them everywhere, and I have certain things in place that because you open yourself up to a lot. I do, as you say, I write about real life. I write about Crowley, Aleister Crowley, and he often pops up in the books and etc. So yeah, I have to. You do have to be careful, especially you're sensitising yourself to it in a way.
Was Crowley evil, or was he just misunderstood?
Well, I think he was. I think he did some bad things from my research. Some stupid things. He was misunderstood. He was also quite theatrical. He courted attention. He wanted attention. So yeah, he did some bad sorry, I'm not supposed to say that.
I'll cut that out. That's right.
Oh, you'll cut that out. Okay. He did some bad stuff.
You'll get a bleep.
I'll get a bleep. Sorry, he did some bad stuff for sure, and ended his days a broken, drug-addicted old man in Hastings.
Yeah, so, he did get around a bit though, didn't he? He
got around.
I actually lived in Suffolk for about 8 years, and I used to go through Rendlesham Forest quite a bit, and he actually apparently made it to there quite a few times. You heard the name Aleister Crowley around. So, he did get around, didn't he? I mean, and he was bang into it, and he did write some stuff that was very, very interesting, but he can be taken the wrong way as well. On your ghost hunts, have you experienced many experiences? Experienced many experiences?
Have I? On the ghost hunts, only really down at my local one actually, Preston Manor.
Right.
And which is got loads of ghosts galore there, and it feels it. And some of the places in Preston Manor where you can go off limits on ghost hunts, it's quite scary. Anyway, we were doing a séance, which of course I wouldn't recommend anyone to do, not really. But we were doing a séance in the morning room, and there's a spirit there called Mad Jack. Now, he's called Mad Jack not because he's mad, but because he was very mischievous in life. A son of the family that owned it. Anyway, he likes to pop up on these ghost hunts and have a play around with everyone, mainly the women. And we were doing this séance, and there he was. Is that you? Yes, it's me. And I said, well, if it's really you, do something. Can you do something for me? And he said, yes. I said, can you touch my hair? And my God, somebody ran their hand through my hair. So in a bit of a higher, squeakier voice, I said, is that you, Jack? And he said, yes. And then that's it. The atmosphere changed. Whatever was in there, which had charged the atmosphere, it just went completely calm again. And,
really?
So he'd gone. He did what he had to do, and he went. So, and that's no joke. Yes, that really did happen.
You didn't do a Yvette Fielding and go running and screaming out the room?
No. I can't bear that on Most Haunted. Just when it gets a bit interesting, they all go screaming in the other direction. But that's what you're here for. That's what we're watching you for.
Yeah, they're all calling them out. But is there anybody there? As soon as something happens, everyone runs.
I know. It's like, for God's sake. So, no, I didn't. I was very brave. No, it didn't feel threatening, not in the slightest. He's not a threatening spirit. So he's just mischievous.
I must say, I do like the Most Haunted shows, not for the content, but actually for the locations. Yeah, I'm interested in the history of the locations that they tell you about at the beginning of the show. I find that the most fascinating part of the shows.
Yeah, definitely. I do as well, and I used to love Derek. and his spirit guide.
Did you ever meet him by any chance?
No, my husband did. He went to Hastings to one of his shows, but I couldn't go that evening, so I didn't. But he used to make me smile, Derek.
Yeah. Well, apparently he was a very good medium, if you want to call it, or sensitive, or whatever. I think he just got caught out in the trap of having to perform for the cameras.
Yeah, of course.
And come up with a result for a TV show.
But if you take it all with a pinch of salt, then that show, then it's an enjoyable thing to watch.
Yeah, I still enjoy watching it, I must say. I mean, what people have got to keep in mind is you're watching 45 minutes or an hour of something that would have been over sort of 6 or 7 hours, all that filming, and of course that's why it looks like everything happens at once. When in actual fact it doesn't. I mean, you know yourself on those ghost hunts, it gets boring some nights, doesn't it? If you go on them and you think, nothing's happening, let's just go home, pack up and go home. And then all of a sudden something will happen and sort of grabs your attention. You think, that was good. What happened? Let's see what else will happen.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no. So have I, there's a few other little things that have happened on ghost hunts. I went with a Twilight team, run by a friend of mine called Laura Goff.
She's a friend of you. I'm going to try and go on some of those hunts, because I found that on your page, actually. I was going to ask you about that. Because they do have some interesting locations on there.
She runs a great ghost hunt, actually, and I went with her I've been with her to the Brighton Sales and also to the Hastings True Crime Museum.
Oh, right.
Now that, if you can go to that one.
Funny enough, I was there last weekend.
Were you?
Do you remember that we had a really stormy evening? It was really chucking it down with rain, and we went on a ghost hunt with the East Anglia Paranormal Investigation team. Unfortunately, it wasn't a very good night.
Well, our night was banging. I'm telling you, literally banging.
When you're talking about banging, there's a club next door with all the.
No, I don't mean that. I don't mean as in it.
No, but that was like a lot of noise from next door, which was a bit off-putting.
I see. So that ruined it for you.
It was like a club, bought with the evening.
Oh, we didn't have that. We didn't have that. We didn't have the noise or anything from next door.
Yeah,
no,
it kind of spoiled the whole atmosphere, really.
Yeah, what a shame.
Yeah, we drove all the way there in the fuel shortage thing as well.
Oh, God.
And we sort of left by about 10, but apparently a few things happened after we left. But it wasn't a very spectacular night, let's say. Quite an expensive night, because we'd spent 80 quid putting our dogs in the kennels and everything as well.
Oh gosh. Oh no, there's various ones.
As I say, the venue itself is really interesting.
The venue is fantastic. I mean, it's got some very, I think, really macabre things in, hasn't it? The bath, definitely. The acid bath, murderer's bath. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, somebody dropped their camera in the bath, actually, and couldn't reach it. You had to sort of lean over the fence to get it.
I would, they said, do you want to sit in the bath? I said, no, thank you. It's all the same to you, but that's where you and I part ways on that. I'm not sitting in that bath.
Yeah, they've got some interesting exhibits, I must say.
They have,
I mean, I don't know really what sort of spirits have they got there. Do you know? Because I didn't really experience anything.
There's a little girl. The little girl loved. I took my son, and the little girl loved my son. Absolutely loved him. Followed him around. Was on the Ouija board. Or was communicating with him. So I just loved him. So there is a little girl. The other spirits, I don't know what, but there were quite a few that put in a bit of a performance that night. But the little girl was really cute, really sweet.
Right.
Yeah.
Because there used to be smugglers' caves and things, so some people said. They're like man-made caves type of thing, aren't they?
That's it. Yeah, I should imagine there's a few old rogues in there, though.
I should imagine.
But there's a lot of, you've got the acid murderer's bath, and you've got various other dreadful objects. I write another series called Reach for the Dead, which is the main character in it, Shady Grows, has the gift of psychometry, so she can hold an object and sense the energy that has infused that object, from the past, and so the stories unfold. But For me, I mean, I think psychometry is a very interesting aspect of the paranormal, and the energy that would be a negative energy that would be attached to that, say that bath, for example, would be immense.
Yeah.
You know, and to some of those weapons and exhibits that they have in that museum would be immense. And I think you really do have to be careful with this stuff. There is a dark side to it. And stuff can attach itself to you by proxy, so you go I mean, they call them ghost hunts. I don't like the word hunt. I don't like to think you hunt for a ghost, but I mean, it's for want of better.
Unfortunately, that's the label. That's the label it's got. Yeah.
That's what they're called. I think, but you have to go into it with respect, and you have to go into it with protection as well. And protection is something I talk a lot about in the Psychic Surveys books, because they go. The Haunting of Highdown Hall starts off quite light, but they go into some very, very dark situations as the books go on. And you've got to protect yourself. The writer, me, I have to protect myself writing that stuff, because, as I say, a lot of it is built, based on true stuff. So
I know about the protection you're talking about, and that's bringing down the light over the body and sort of encompassing yourself in it and things like that, isn't it?
Yeah, standard stuff. Yeah,
I have seen it done properly, and also seen it not done properly. And it is, like you say, it is a very important aspect of any ghost hunts. For want of a better description.
Well, when when I decided to jump ship from romance to paranormal. My mum, who I say is a great inspiration, and one of the characters in the Psychic Survey series is based on her, Theo, right down to the pink hair. And she said to me, she said, do it, absolutely brilliant. I'll tell you as much as I know about the spiritual world, etc. Because, as I say, she spent her whole life studying it. She said, but one thing you need to do is to go in and treat it with respect. Be different from horror authors and other horror etc. out there. Go in and treat this whole vast subject with respect. She said, and you won't go wrong. Yeah. And that's what I did.
No, I do agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you ever tried the table tipping on these hunts? Because we had an amazing experience with that once.
Yeah.
Have you had did anything happen with yours? Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, we've had the table go crazy. Yeah.
And also, I mean, I'll tell you, I've said it on this show a few times. When we did our one, everyone was taking their hand off the table one at a time, so you could prove that it's not you doing it.
Yes.
When I took mine off, I'm sort of going under the table to have a look, and then I'd put my hand on it, and I could put my hand on it. It felt like there was something underneath, like a springy sensation. And also that was my side I could feel, so it actually felt like there was something springy on it. It was a really funny,
Wow.
Yeah, it was really quite an experience that was. And like you say, the table was going mad at that time. But I believe, we live in the material world, which when you think about it, the material world is pretty damn bizarre, isn't it? But I do believe the spiritual world exists right alongside it. And I do believe the two sort of, Yeah, I do agree with you that they're around us all the time. I mean, the fact of calling them up, if you like, they're here all the time anyway, as I understand
the two overlap. Yeah, I mean, we're right beside the spiritual world, the two overlap. And the thing is, because people say, I don't believe in ghosts, don't believe in spirits, don't believe in anything like that. But the fact that you're here in this strange little world, this strange new sort of universe, and do you never think that this life is strange enough?
Definitely.
It's not, when you really think about what we're doing here and why, it can blow your mind.
Yeah.
And so we're here, God knows why we're here, but we are, and we live our little lives and what have you, but that's just as strange as thinking about the afterlife, I think.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think I feel we're going through some pretty evil times as well, to be honest. I don't know how you feel about that. I've heard from several people there's like a very large spiritual war going on.
There is. But there was, and I wrote about this in Rise to Me, there was during World War II, led by the likes of Dion Fortune, and I think Crowley had a bit to do with it too, and who was the chap who wrote James Bond?
Ian Fleming.
Yes, he was involved, and they all waged a psychic war against Hitler and his cohorts, and they all did it back, you know. Dion Fortune and all the, you know, she rallied all the people of psychic ability in the UK, and they would sit at a certain time of the day and just send out, you know, light towards the dark, pushing it back, and they would imagine great big archangels all around the perimeter of the UK, you know, guarding this island. And it took it out of her because she died soon after the World War II. She died because she was exhausted. But yeah, there is and I don't know, lots of people say, God, it's a really dark time at the moment, but for me, this has always been a world in peril. You look back through history, I think this is just this world, this dimension, this level that we're at. We're a world of balance, and there's good and there's evil, and it just keeps, you know, trying to vie to one to overbalance the other, you know. So we've always been a world in peril, and nothing's changed. This isn't a world of peace. No. Not this dimension that we're in, not this particular plane, no.
That's interesting you mentioned about dimensions, because that's why I called this show Paranormal Dimensions. Do you feel that, I do hear that there's like several dimensions and several levels. Hey, what are your views on that?
Yeah, definitely, yeah. And we're in a hard training ground here, I think. But we'll go off to, depending on how you've done and what you've learned on this particular level, we'll go off into higher levels, or we might have to repeat this plane again, or we might have to go lower still. Yeah.
Do you feel that some of us may have been at a higher level and come back to a lower level or something, if you like? Yeah,
definitely, yeah, to try and bring the general, you know, thing up to a certain level. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, you choose to come back, right, I'll go back and see what I can do with that little shower over there, and, you know, blah, blah. Yeah, definitely.
I mean, I don't know how you feel also. I found within this paranormal world, you know, on Earth, you seem to bond with certain people. Yeah. And you feel that you've got some connection there. That's what I've found over the years. You know.
You do. You find your tribe, with people, like-minded people, what have you. But I suppose like calls to like. You will always find people who are interested in the same things as you, and that's what will make you get on, as it were. But yeah, I have my beliefs. I stuff it all into the books, and the strange thing is that you get people writing in saying, God, you know, that is exactly how I thought of it. And it's amazing. I've never seen it like you dealt with like this before, you know, which I've got my mother to thank for that and all she taught me. But then you've got others who say, well, I wanted a horror. Your book was crap. I wanted a horror. Well, if you want a horror, go and read someone else.
Yeah, there's plenty out there, isn't there?
Mine. Yeah. There's plenty of gore and all that sort of stuff out there. If that's what floats your boat, put it down, go and read something else, you know. But they get cross because it's not horrifying enough. Yeah. And you just think, no, that's not what I do. No. And, you know, it's psychological.
Yeah, well, from that point of view, I think you can get a better story out of a psychological story anyway. Yeah. You know, the greater you build up of tension, etc. Yeah. You know.
And just what constitutes a haunting, because, you know, what constitutes a haunting for one person may not be what constitutes a haunting for another as well. So, different experiences.
Yeah, it could even end up as something not supernatural at all, couldn't it? You know.
Absolutely,
in some instances.
Yeah. Yeah.
Have you got any sort of psychic powers yourself, do you think?
Psychic powers. Abilities
is the way,
No, I love psychic powers. You're so much more.
I was going to say superpowers, but...
Superpowers, yeah. My take on it is that everybody has psychic ability. It's just whether we open ourselves to it or not. So, have I had psychic experiences? Yes. And I have had ever since a child. Do I open myself to it fully? Not really. I tend to close it off, and I tend to just explore it within the realms of fiction. It's maybe something I'll go back to in later years, but maybe I won't. I don't know yet. As I say, you do have to be very careful, and you do have to call on protection.
Yeah. No, I do agree with you.
There's a lot of stuff out there.
I mean, we've all got this thing where we can walk into a room and sense an atmosphere, or
Sixth sense, yeah.
Or you'll think of someone and think, I must telephone someone, and then all of a sudden they telephone you. You know, it's all that type of thing, isn't it? I mean, do you believe in like telepathy and mind reading and stuff like that?
Oh God, I think the brain is, we only use a small percentage of the brain, don't we? So I think the brain is capable of so much, so I believe some people have that ability, yeah, definitely. Without a doubt. I don't, but, yeah, definitely. Some people are able to come out of their bodies, astro travel and all that sort of stuff, can't they? And I used to flirt with that actually when I was younger, but I had a nasty experience, so I don't flirt with that anymore.
Oh, right. No, I was actually going to ask you about that. Have you had any experiences with that? So what was the nasty experience you had?
Well, so I used to practice coming out of my body, and I was quite good at it. And I've got 5 brothers. I've got another brother who's very good at it too. But I wasn't in a very good space. I just had a baby and I had postnatal depression. And it was all just a bit of a dark time for about a year with this bloody postnatal depression stuff. And I was practicing it for some reason. The baby was in bed with my husband in the front room, and I was in a back room, trying to get some sleep. And I don't know why, but I could feel it happening, so I sort of went with it, and I shot to the corner of the room. And I was like, so I could see the room and me in bed and what have you. But then something tried to get through the door. And I knew and it was rattling the door, and I knew that whatever it was that was going to come through, if I didn't want to see it, and I shouldn't see it, it wasn't something from this realm, as it were. It's from a lower plane. So I panicked and I got straight back in to my body, and I didn't do it after that.
Oh, right.
I sought advice and I was told not to do it again.
Well, that was consciously, but probably in your sleep. We probably all do it anyway.
Yes. Oh, yes. Well, that's a different thing. But at that point and at that stage of my life, it wasn't a great thing to do, and I'm just glad that thing never got through the door. Right. Quite frank.
Yeah, I wonder what that was.
Who knows? But yeah, just be careful doing it, and be in a good place in your life when you're doing it. So.
Have you ever been in touch with your spirit guides?
No, but apparently I've got 5.
Right, all right.
No, but I don't know who they are and where they are.
They're obviously around you now, but...
Yes, where are you? Come on, show yourself. I don't know who they are, no, but apparently I have got 5, been told that several times.
Yeah. I've heard that they do sometimes swap. Yeah, won't they think, I've done my bit with her now, you take over, or whoever it is.
Yeah, I've done my bit with her. For God's sake, you take over. I've had enough.
But I do understand that there's always one that stays with you for your whole life. But whether that's true or not, I don't know either. It's only what I've been told. Yeah, I'd love to know too. How do you look on reincarnation? Do you believe there's a lot involved in that?
Yeah, definitely, yeah. In fact, I just had my Akashic records read by a lovely lady, local lady, who was recommended to me. So I thought I'd give that a go. And yeah, I've lived several lives. I knew I'd lived in France, and she picked up on that. I was a wandering minstrel, no less, in the 15th century, called Eliza. But all that aside, yeah, definitely believe in reincarnation. I think you come here many, many times. And if not this particular round, one like it, and what have you, until you can go up higher rounds, yeah. Yeah,
I mean, I think what comes into it, I don't know if you believe in UFOs, etc. Or aliens.
I've seen them.
I've seen them too. Okay, well, we can talk about that, because I've seen them too. But, so we could actually go to a different planet as well, couldn't we? The way I see.
Well, my mum was really into all the UFO stuff. Me, not so much. Although I don't disbelieve it, not at all. And when I was younger, I was about 8, and me and Mum were walking along the seafront, Brighton seafront, after having been to the Wimpy for dinner, and literally it was the strangest, bizarrest thing, and I wasn't the only one to see them. It was reported in the newspaper, etc. There was all of us along the seafront. It was, I'd say it was night, but early evening, about 8, 9 or whatever, and out of nowhere and very low flying was literally a V formation of flying discs.
Right, yeah.
Burning bright white, and they shot at huge speed across the seafront and then just disappeared. So they came out of nowhere. They went into nowhere, and they were so low, and I've never, well, it was an unidentified flying object, several of them. I mean, it's in the true sense of the word. And we were like, and everyone on the beach was like, what the hell? What was that? And yeah, it was reported on, and so what was it? I don't know.
No, were they silent as well?
Yeah, completely silent.
Yeah, the sound or anything. So they couldn't have been like a jet or something like that. Or...
No, they weren't in the shape of a jet. They were round.
No, but I was saying it's like they'll say, oh, it's just an aeroplane or something. So normally, if it was a helicopter or a plane or something, you'd have heard an engine.
No, they were completely silent, and they were. I can see them now as clear as daylight in my mind's eye. Burning white orbs. Burning white orbs. Brightest white you'll ever see. Against the night sky, but so it's in a V formation, so 1, 2, 3, 4, probably about 5 or 6 of them. Yeah.
That's interesting, because you say the figure 6. We were sitting a couple of years ago. We were sitting outside where we used to live. We had like a decking type of thing. And my wife suddenly saw, it's the middle of the day, by the way, she saw white objects way up in the sky. Yeah. And there was like 6 of them, funny enough. Yeah. It was like two V formations in 6, and there were 6 of them all together going across the sky. Wow. And I couldn't see them at first, but she said, what are they? And I'm looking, I'm trying to find them, and suddenly I saw them. I thought, wow, and I was following them for quite a while. So what the hell they were, I don't know.
Well, I do believe that, I mean, we're very arrogant to think we're the only life form, isn't it?
Absolutely,
So I do believe that there is other stuff out there, and that probably the powers that be know all about it.
Yeah, I believe that too. I mean, in 1967, actually, I saw a big oval orange object going across the sky, which was completely quiet. And I've said this on the show, so anyone listening has heard it before. But also, when I was younger, sitting on my steps, I was actually watching a star move and stop and move and stop. And at the time, I just thought it was a star. But it was only in later years I thought, well, what the hell was that? Because stars don't do that,
No, no, exactly. It is. It's bizarre, isn't it? I mean, it's fascinating. This whole. Where we are, this dimension, the whole thing, it's fascinating. There's a lot to be fascinated by.
And also, that's why it's called the paranormal. I mean, most people don't regard the paranormal as a real thing, do they? But
yeah, I suppose the paranormal, what it means is outside of normal, doesn't it? I suppose technically what it means, and there's a lot that's outside of normal.
Yeah, I suppose.
A hell of a lot.
I guess we're talking supernatural. I mean, a lot of people will dismiss the supernatural, saying, oh, it's just a load of rubbish and it doesn't exist. Yeah. But I believe that people like you and myself and many other people I've spoken to, there is a lot in it, and things do happen.
But there is, and stuff does happen, and it's depends how, you can close yourself off completely from it, but you miss out on a lot that's exciting in life, because it is part of the rich fabric of this realm.
It is, I agree with you. So you're actually writing, you've got another book on the go now. Have you got other things planned in the future as well? Other books that you're actually thinking about and working on?
Yeah, oh God, always. So I'm working on a book, which is the 4th book in this Haunted World series, which sort of deals with places, real life places, and weaves a lot of fact with fiction, as I normally do. The first one is set in Venice and the island of Poveglia in the Venetian lagoon. The second one is set in a hotel that I stayed in Pennsylvania. And the third one is set in Highgate. This one is set in a castle in Scotland that I stayed in during the summer holidays for a week, and is just, oh my God, the weight of history as you know, you could feel it in the air all around you. So it's reputedly haunted, but as I've told them, it certainly will be by the time I finish with you. And so that's the fourth one. I've got I'm adding to the Reach for the Dead series as well. So book 3 needs to be written in that, and I'll be adding to Psychic Survey series, which book 9 needs to be written in that series. And there's a few sort of other things. I would quite like to write about the Magdalene laundries. There's other subjects that I've touched on that I would like to write about and expand, etc. So that's what I will be doing.
In the paranormal vein, you mean?
In the paranormal vein, yeah.
You don't think you'll sort of branch off into anything else?
Will I write? Funny enough, this summer I published Summer of Grace, and Summer of Grace is more psychological mystery,
right?
And more of a mystery thriller, shall we say, set in Kansas, in the USA. And I really loved writing that. It was quite a nice little refreshing break for me to have overall a break from the paranormal. So I might write more mystery type thrillers, but they usually have quite a dark aspect to them. So yeah, I might do more of that in the future.
Yeah,
definitely.
It probably doesn't do any harm to have a little detour away from the paranormal.
No. So exactly, it doesn't do any harm to have a little detour every now and then, but the paranormal is where I will mainly keep my focus.
Yeah. Well, from what I've seen, I think that's probably your best focus anyway, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
As I say, the covers are fantastic, and I will put a lot of links to all your books on the Paranormal Dimensions page. Yeah, and also I'm going to link that Twilight Ghost Hunts as well, because it's a fantastic page they've got. They've got a really nice website that's very informative, tells you a lot about I might even see you on a ghost hunt, you never know, because I'm going to actually sign up for some of those.
yeah, definitely. They've got one at the Grimsdyke Hotel, actually. I'm not sure when it is. I need to
I saw that one. Yeah, they've got really nice bedrooms you can hire for the night, haven't they?
Yeah, but the Grimsdyke is a place that I've heard of before. I thought, I do love a hotel store. I do love a haunted hotel.
Yeah.
I really do. You can have great fun with a haunted hotel. The various residents.
That's right. Yeah. There's a TV thing we saw last night. It was on Amazon Prime or something called Haunted Hotels, I think.
Oh yeah. Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's in America, obviously, but it's all the different people that have gone through there. You know, it's actually quite scary, some of the stories that were coming out.
Oh.
You know.
Well, I've stayed at a couple of hotels where I thought I'm getting the heck out of here, and I've left one at like 11, 12 at night thinking I'm not staying here.
Really?
No way. Yeah, one up in the north and one over in Paris.
So what happened? Come on, tell us what happened.
Well, in the first one, which is the one up at the north, the atmosphere was just horrendous. I went in and you're literally on edge. You could not settle in your bed there. And I was working away at the time. And I just thought, I can't stay here. It was in this little B&B, I suppose, stroke hotel. In my mind, it's more a B&B, but I think it was actually a hotel. We're going back 20, 25 years. It was terrifying, and I don't know what happened there. I didn't want to know. I just packed my bags and I left. In the one that I stayed in Paris, again, I was away for work, and it was a pyramid-shaped hotel. It's called the Pyramid. And I stayed in this room, and I'm not kidding you, it was like there was a storm raging around me all night, but there was no storm. There really was no storm, but the storm was inside the room, and I was in the centre of it, and I sat up all night, clutching my pillow to me, thinking, oh my God, as soon as light comes, I was too scared to move.
Right.
But that's a sensation I got, like a storm, a whirling vortex, and I was in the centre of it. as soon as dawn broke, the light came, it did calm down. So I got up, packed my stuff, and went downstairs to someone on reception. I said, I have just had no sleep. What the hell is in that room? And she went, oh, hang on. Oh, sorry, we didn't mean to put you in that room. We shouldn't have done that.
Right.
And I was like, well, what's in there? She said, well, we don't know, but nobody likes it. Sorry,
Wow.
we shouldn't have put you in that room. And I'm like, well, grab me a taxi and I'm going to the airport and I'm going home. It was horrible. That was terrifying. Whatever energy was in that room swirling around me was malevolent, put it that way.
Yeah, so that was really a psychic experience, you could say.
Yeah,
because you picked up on something that was in there. Yeah, on your own. Yeah.
I had to endure it on my own. I'm like, this is not fun. This is really not fun. This is just horrendous. I had to sort of put the light around me, and it just went all around me. And as the natural light came in, it did recede.
Wow.
As it would. So
I think that's the sort of experience that everyone wants, but then when it happens, they don't like it.
You don't want it.
You don't like it.
You don't want it when you're on your own.
Yeah.
You really don't. It was scary. It was really scary.
You could have done Yvette Fielding then.
Yeah, well, she would have run screaming in the other direction. I stayed. But I was too scared to move. That's why I stayed. But in the hotel up north, or B&B, whatever it was, I did pack my bags and leave. So it wasn't, whatever was in that room wasn't as bad as what was in the pyramid.
Wow. I suppose the important question is, did they charge you?
Well, it was charged to account anyway, because it was a work thing, so it was charged to account. So, and I spoke to my mum. I was speaking to my mum about it afterwards, and she was wondering whether the shape of the pyramid, the whole thing about a pyramid is that it was built to sort of channel energy, wasn't it? And she was wondering if some sort of energy it had attracted the whole that shape of it, sort of had attracted some sort of energy down into the pinpoint, and my room was just the centre of it.
Yeah, it's quite a possibility, isn't it? I mean,
yeah. So you don't know, and I don't know, and it is what it is. But yeah, it was scary. Yeah,
it's a fascinating thought of it. It's a shame you didn't think about maybe trying to record something. Have you ever done anything like EVP recordings or anything like that?
No, I haven't. And how old was I? So I didn't have a mobile phone then.
Right.
So I didn't have the means of doing that, and there wasn't anything you could see either. So, actually, maybe maybe it would have picked up something, you don't know. But it was a sensation, and it was a very real sensation.
Yeah. I think when things happen like that, you're not really prepared to sort of just grab your phone anyway, are you?
No.
You're probably more just thinking about what's happening at the time.
You are caught in the moment of it, and it is terrifying. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, personally, I like an experience like that. I mean, if somebody told me there's a haunted house, you want to come and sleep tonight, I'd say, yeah, I'll be up there straight away.
Well, I have slept in haunted place. I mean, I've written about Old Cross Cottage. That's book 4 in the Psychic Survey series, and that's a real place down in Dorset. And how I described it all is completely accurate. It has coffin lid stairs.
Wow.
For example, offcuts, of course.
Yeah.
But
I've never heard of that before.
Yeah, they were coffin lids, but they were offcuts. And there's been some strange activity in there. It used to be an old pub, so it's 3 houses now, one cottage, but the front it used to be the village pub, and we're talking sort of like 1600s or whatever. You can still hear the pub noises, and I did hear them.
Wow.
In the dead of night, I did hear them, and the muted voices, the clinking of glasses, etc. There's you hear other people I've stayed with in the cottage. They report at night somebody getting into bed with them, picking out the covers and getting into bed and putting their arm around them, or just poking them in the back.
Oh, God.
Voices, you often hear voices when there are no voices, no voices, nobody said anything, whatever, you can often hear a voice, sort of reverberate in the atmosphere, footsteps as well. It's the strangest of places, and that's very, very paranormal, I think. And it's got a graveyard attached, not attached. It's a short walk, but graveyard in the village, and some stuff's happened there too. Strange stuff.
Of course, I mean, there's a lot of old pubs. They've got a lot of history, like a lot of old hotels with people that have been through them and everything.
Yeah.
It's,
well, I mean, the walls, these walls, everything's energy, isn't it?
Yeah.
As Einstein said, everything is energy.
Yeah, nothing is solid. Yeah, you're right.
No, walls soak up energy. They soak up thoughts and feelings and emotions, and I think sometimes they reverberate, into the atmosphere. I don't think it's always an intelligent haunting. I think sometimes it's just like something like, it's been recorded, just playing over and over again.
Yeah. That's like the Richard Felix theory, isn't it? Well, no, I don't suppose he's the only one that said it, but he talks about a lot of recordings in castle walls and things like that.
Yeah. Yeah, but there's nothing actually, it's just a replay. There's nothing actually intelligent about the haunting. It's not a grounded soul, as it were, stuck here, unable to go to the light, So
fascinating, absolutely fascinating. But
it is.
Anyway, after talking to you, I'm going to have to get all your books now. Because I find them quite fascinating. I'm going to have to do it. I'm not just saying that either. I mean it. So hopefully, if I ever run into you, you have to come and do a big signing session for me.
I will. Of course, I will.
But I would say I may well meet you on one of these ghost hunts, because I do intend to go on some of these Twilight ghost hunts. In fact, if I'm going on one, I'll let you know. And
let me know which ones you're going on. Yeah.
It's I do intend to do that, because my wife likes them as well. So it's
my husband likes it. So does my son, funny enough. He loves it.
Yeah, that's right.
So, yeah.
But anyway, Shani, it's been fantastic talking to you. Thanks so much for finding the time to come on. And as I say, I will put links on the Paranormal Dimensions page. And it's been great. And I do hope to run into you at some point. And
yeah, definitely. We'll have to do that. Yeah, definitely. Keep me posted on which ones you're going on.
Yeah, stay in touch. And as I say, I'll let you go now. Thank you very much for coming on.
Thank you very much.
Right. Bye-bye, Shani. Thank you very much. Bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.
There we are. That was Shani Struthers. Very much enjoyed that. I hope you did too. You've been listening to Paranormal Dimensions on the Paranormal UK Radio Network. I'm David Young. Thank you for listening. Join me again next week. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Paranormal Dimensions is as bright and powerful as our celestial star, the sun. And although it's expending thousands of pounds of energy every minute of the day, have no fear. There's plenty left.
Paranormal Dimensions is a regular feature on Mondays on the Paranormal UK Radio Network.